Alright, today we are experimenting on the 6.4 powerstroke. Got a few previous videos on this, on the turbo and a few other little things, how it's been driving. I've got the CCV delete that came with this single turbo kit. And this truck has a little bit of blow by. It's not bad. But I'd like to get it under vacuum or a little bit of a Venturi effect off the exhaust and try to clear it out a little bit more. So here's what we got underneath. Okay, so here's a look at that CCV reroute that I had dumped in here, and you can see it's dumping oil down in here, which isn't my problem. My problem is that it smokes, and when you open the door, it goes up into the cab on my wife's side. So, came in here and I welded in this pipe, which is actually an oil dipstick tube, and tried to give it enough space to kind of dissipate the heat away from the rubber. I put it on and I wasn't super confident that it was going to work properly. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to put a test fitting in here, clamp that on. I'm going to run a vacuum gauge and a pressure gauge, which I probably have right here, up into the truck, and we're going to see if this thing makes any vacuum. I don't know. I mean, if it does, we'll just see if it can move the needle towards that direction at all, or if it's making pressure. So if it's not making any vacuum, this is a bad idea. If it's making pressure and vacuum, we can put a check valve in it. But if it's not making any vacuum, this is just a scratch that idea and move on. So yeah, let's get this hooked up and go test it. I need to find a longer vacuum hose, but let me get this all hooked up. Okay, so I got my hose hooked up, and just to show you, this is just me sucking on it and blowing on it. It is sensitive enough to see that, I guess. So, see if the exhaust can compete with me. All right, so we're starting on just the right side of that black hash mark. So let's see, I don't know where to put this thing at. Let's go see what she does under load. Not much under at idle or under no load. So we're at the bottom of a hill. So you guys are gonna have a funky angle, but alright, so it's creating pressure, and I gotta go on a road trip, so that was just an experiment. Yeah, not a good idea to hook it up like that. Better off in the atmosphere. So I'm gonna cap all that stuff off, just leave the CCV hanging out as it is, and then I've got a little valve coming from, I think, Amazon or eBay, that supposedly Venturi valve supposedly will help create vacuum. But so I can verify that you can't just stick a pipe on the exhaust and hope that it creates vacuum. You need to test it and make sure. So we'll see what their Venturi vacuum does. Other than that, I'll just stick the CCV further back in the truck and call that good. But yeah, so be careful reading stuff on the internet. I got stuff on my eye. Without doing testing. So you will pressure up your crankcase and screw up the seals, and it's not good for it. So I will order that. Stay tuned for the next I'll put that on a different episode. We'll try this a different time. But yeah, no just sticking a pipe on the exhaust. See if I can figure out how to help the crankcase a little bit in the 6.4. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.